When I look at the research on class size, when teachers have been in classes of typically 25 to 30, and we compare that to classes of teachers with classes of 15 to 20, we do get an increase in achievement by reducing class size. There is no question. However, that effect size is tiny. And what I'm intrigued on as a researcher is how come the effect size is so small? It's positive, but it's very small. And until you ask that question, we're never going to break through. Now, I've spent a lot of my work, others, Jerry Finn from the Tennessee study, they've spent their work, Peter Blanchford in England, he spent his work trying to answer that question. How come the effect size is so small? Now, it turns out that one of the fundamental reasons for it is if you take a teacher in a class size of 30 and you put them in a class size of 15 and they don't change what they do, of course the effect size is small. And unfortunately, that's what happened. Like take, for instance, Hong Kong. I spent a bit of time working with their government over the years. They wanted to reduce their class sizes. And my first comment to their minister was, hey, wait a moment. You're already at the top of the world and your class sizes are 60. Why would you want to change them? Well, there's a political answer. And they did. And their effect size, very tiny. The best example, if you've been to Hong Kong and their class sizes, they're all high-rise apartments. Teachers use a lot of microphones, megaphones, etc. And I remember this one day, I watched this teacher in a class of 60. Now, she was pretty impressive. And she spoke to all the kids, etc. Now, then I was asked to watch her when she's in a class size of 15. She still used her megaphone. Now, that's an instance, a pretty powerful one, that if you don't change how you teach, there's no effect. So my answer is, if we're going to reduce class sizes, the first thing we have to do is change how we teach. Like as an academic, my typical undergraduate class sizes are 500 to 1,000. I'm not bad at that. Now, as you can probably imagine from this interview, I'm not very good when classes are 30. I talk too much. And I just won't succeed. Those kids just won't allow that. And I have to be quite different. I went into a school a few years ago where they had class sizes of 15. They were teaching in dramatically different ways to the class size of 30, with incredible success. But I've also seen many teachers who've been put in smaller classes teach the same. So the first thing I want to say is that unless you change your teaching, now here's the question I ask of the profession. I want more research on what that teaching change should be and then go to small classes. Like as I said in Hong Kong, like the reason I got kicked out of Hong Kong was not because I said it's $1 billion hoax and that was the headlines in the newspaper. Unfortunate comment, but that's what it was. The reason I was kicked out is I said, if you're going to do it, and I know you're going to do it, because the research is not going to change your mind, find ways to retrain your teachers. Well, the teachers got very upset with that. They said, how insulting. Of course we can teach in classes of 15. Well, I'm sorry. It requires quite a different way of teaching than a class of 30. Like if I said to you tomorrow, you're going to have a class of 60, you're going to have to learn very fast how to teach differently. Now, one of the problems is that we as a profession for 200 years have worked out how to be very good in a class size of 25 to 30. We're actually not bad at it. But we shouldn't assume that therefore that's what works with a smaller class. So my argument on class size is it hasn't made a much difference. I wouldn't spend a penny on it relative to the other things, which is more about what teachers think and what teachers do. However, I would be fascinated to know how you would teach differently. I can't find many research projects ever that have asked how you retrain to teach a smaller class. I want to see that, and then I'd be happy to go along with it.